At last the sun was out in force. The temperature was well above 20 degrees as we left Berezne.
Rightio. Let's give it some.
The ground under the wheels in the Ukraine were predominantly sandy, and we had plenty of sand to contend with today. Through the villages and forests and across the open fields, it was sandy. It was just after one of these sandy forests that we found ourselves in an abandoned town.
Well, this is quite bizarre. Terry and I have stumbled across a kind of a ghost town here in the Ukraine, and I'm guessing from the derelict state of the buildings and everything like that, it's been abandoned for at least 20 years. So I guess it's probably an old Soviet military town. It's quite a big place, and this is completely filled with these derelict buildings. Right, we figured out why that town and a whole bunch of other towns are ghost towns. It seems we've entered, well, I'm guessing anyway, we're only about 40 kilometers or so from Chernobyl. It seems we've entered some kind of exclusion zone. The road we're on is an abandoned road. We've had to get over, there's some concrete barriers across the road. And it looks like nobody's been past them, but we managed to sneak through there. So we're going to try and cross the Chernobyl exclusion zone this afternoon. Wish us luck.
We continued into the exclusion zone for over 20 kilometers along an eerily abandoned road. There was no sign of recent human activity here, and the verges were all totally overgrown. Then, completely out of the blue, we reached a high fence across the road with a guard tower. A Kalashnikov-toting guard in the tower seemed as shocked to see us as we were to see him. Before he could work out what to say or do, we had turned around 180 degrees and accelerated back the way we came, to a turnoff I recall seeing about 2 kilometers back. We took the turnoff and soon came to another blocked bridge. This, I hoped, would signify the edge of the exclusion zone. Terry and I ripped a section of the barricade out of the way and squeezed our bikes through. There was no sign of anyone following us, and I breathed a sigh or two of relief just a few hundred yards down the road when I started to see side roads that were clearly being used by logging trucks. At the first village after leaving the exclusion zone, we stumbled across a local wedding taking place. We quickly became part of the festivities ourselves, before continuing on to the outskirts of Kiev. Kiev was a chance to fix some of the things that needed fixing already after just 3 days on the road. I needed a spot of welding, and Terry needed to get a GPS cable repaired.
Well, the problem is, what the cowboys took me on this mad head scheme to ride across, halfway across the world off-road through some real bad, nasty woods. And one tree jumped out and got me. And actually got me sat-nav wiring and messed me sat-nav up. So here we are in Kiev with my fine friend here doing a repair job.
Kiev had a great local beach, which was also an ideal location to spend half a day recovering from the dramatic start to the trip so far. Western Ukraine saw us making good time over open farm fields broken up with patches of forest. In one regional city, we were met by a local senior mafiosi, who was also an avid biker. He insisted on writing us a propusk, or permission, to transit his area. We were told to show this to the police or anyone else who stopped us between here and the Russian border. In the border city of Sumy, Terry and I had to part ways. I had to ride on ahead to Volgograd, while Terry was awaiting delivery of a spare suspension component that was tied up in Ukrainian customs before he could enter Russia. Terry would have to use his imagination and find some kind of ways to keep himself amused in Sumy until his parts got there. Then he would have to ride express to Volgograd so we could continue our off-road adventure.